Okay, today we're going to talk about my favorite concept, which is your body is your best friend. Now, I think that sounds a bit odd to people if they've never heard me say it, because it's like, what does that even mean? My body's my best friend. And I think for a lot of people, they don't have a good relationship with their body, so they don't feel like their body is their best friend. But I want to talk about this today because it's been one of the most transformative things for me to honestly to really dive into caring for my body to the best of my abilities. And this relationship for me started really early on. I didn't have the words that my body was my best friend, but I had a really clear understanding early on that my body looked very, very different than the other girls around me, literally down to like middle school. And I started to have to develop this concept of not being self-conscious about what my body looked like, because I'm just a little genetically more muscular. And at that time, I didn't look like the girls around me. And of course, I'm almost 40, so we didn't grow up with social media and magazines, and I didn't see that strong is beautiful concept. I really just kind of had myself, and then I looked around and I was like, I look more like the guys. This is rough. But I started to have this concept of being really grateful for what my body was doing for me. I was athletic, and I was seeing a lot of success in the sports that I was doing. And so I kind of developed this concept that my body was really the reason why I could go do all those things that I was loving so much. So I needed to be okay with however she looked, because what she did was more important. So again, then in college, this kind of concept came up again for me. I was dealing with a lot of injuries in college, and I was super upset at her. I was just really disappointed in my body, and I just felt like she was failing me, like she was not showing up for me. She was not doing what I thought I deserved her to be doing. But again, this concept was coming up of my body was this thing that was almost separate than me. And what it helped me do was start to look at her and care for her through a different lens, because I was no longer taking her for granted. It was something that I was so grateful for, honestly, like every day, to be able to show up and go through life with her by my side, that it really helped me switch my mindset and work through a lot of depression at that time in my later college years. To really developing this idea that if my body's my best friend, I want to care for her the best that I possibly can, and I want to talk to her the best that I possibly can, because she's always listening. And I wouldn't talk to my best friend in real life like one of my other best friends. I wouldn't talk to her negatively. I would be pumping her up. I'd be, so happy to be her friend, and I'd be constantly telling her all the things I'm grateful for that she's around. And so I started doing that with my body. And I still do that to this day. And one of the things about this is it can sound really, really cheesy, but the concept of this is to be a daily reminder to myself that I'm lucky to have this body. I am so grateful that she wakes up and shows up for me every single day, and that I get to go out and do life with her by my side. And that thought process completely transforms me. And it's a reminder that I really have to give myself still every single day, because there's plenty of times that I'll walk by the mirror and I'll look at something, and it's the world we live in to be harsh and to judge and be critical. For example, for me, I have really big arms. So I will always walk by the mirror and be like, oh God, they don't fit into anything. But because I have this lens now of looking at my body as my best friend, I'm able to very quickly change that. I am able to very quickly remind myself that I'm talking to her, even if I don't say it out loud, and she's listening to me. And what I say to her matters. Even if it's an internal thing that I say, what I say to her matters. And when I criticize her, it matters, because she's doing the best that she possibly can, and she's showing up for me every single day. And I'm the one in charge. And if I expect more out of her, if I expect something different out of her, then I'm the one in charge of changing my lifestyle, changing up things that I do, or just changing my mind. For me, when it comes to my big arms, that's about changing my mind. That's about reinforcing, when I look in the mirror and I see big arms, reinforcing that those big arms allow me to do 10 pull-ups, 20 push-ups, and they're incredible. They're amazing. So what if they're big? And big is all relative, because media told me that my arms needed to be small. I actually don't want small arms. So that's my little mini rant there. But my challenge to you is to start looking at your body as your best friend, because truthfully, she really, really is. And to start coming through that lens when you think about how you care for her, how you talk to her, and how you treat her. So just our little tidbit for today, our little reminder, your body is your best friend. How you treat her, how you show up for her, it really, really matters.